Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to get the team together to talk about what we can do to take the LEC to the next level. As you know, Valorant came out. It's putting up some insane viewership numbers, and we're reaching the end of the spring split. We're coming to finals. Dracos, is that you? Are you okay?
Yeah. I just think we should look at going along with new trends like TikTok. Maybe that would help boost our viewership a little bit.
TikTok. All right. Does anyone else have any other ideas or?
You guys don't buy.
Vedius, okay, first of all, don't whisper in a conference call. And secondly, what does Nico have to do with anything?
I was just saying that I have this sweet Nico cosplay, which means that we don't need to buy one. We don't need to buy one because I've already got it.
Right.
We're all good.
Right. I'm not going to lie. I don't super understand this TikTok Nico super plan.
Phoenix, lit 87.
Okay, is it me or is something wrong with you guys today? Like, why is communication so hard?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Trev, but Ender was just saying that it would be really, really cool if we did a performance of Phoenix, like fly, Phoenix,
Okay.
Yeah, like the part that goes, there's a guy at back of sight, so please look to your right. Fly, Phoenix, fly.
Dracos,
you know how it goes.
That is not part of the song. That is not the lyrics.
Okay, Xerxe are trying to clutch right now. Shh.
Well, what he means is Clutch Gaming had Vebovin playing.
Guys, I need you to be quiet. This is important.
Wait. Are you guys in a Valorant game right now? This is unbelievable. We are supposed to be working. We've got the most prestigious show in esports. We're coming up to the spring finals, and you're not even focusing or preparing.
Trevor, just shut up, dude. Come on.
So what? Is this some important clutch? What game is this?
Yes, Trevor, please be quiet. It's 12-12 in the final round. We can talk about this after.
Okay, and she's probably planting in A, trying to cover from long. That's what this is about?
No, Trevor, she's trying to plant and hold from tower, but it doesn't matter right now. Just let her focus. Just let her focus.
God,
good try, Xerxe.
No, I messed
Oh, it was a good effort,
Nice
Xerxe. Good effort.
Yeah. Who the hell is quick, boom, boom anyway?
You guys are the worst. They turned it around! G2 are losing! G2 are losing! Yanko's not 100% on the same page! Sniped by Cod! Looking at Mickey. Look at the color of the humanoid! Cat! He bounces! They almost got the kill! It's not enough, man, Lions! Shadow, still not down. He's going to choose to work with. They've done it. They've done it! It's the Mad Lions! They have unseated the champions! They have killed the kings! The rookies have risen up!
He instantly gets shredded through, and there's Finn. All that gold paying off. Massive fight in favor of Rogue. Oh, they've just gotten into the meat grind of Rogue and set it up so beautifully. Just let him die! And here we go! Rogue looking to end this series and face Origen next week.
Get the last breath. The coldest force shot coming out as well, but Nemesis puts up the wind wall. He's surviving. Nukeduck has to flash away. Nukeduck caught underneath the tower. Nemesis alive, and Fnatic 2-0 up the kill. Xerxe flashes forward, and the explosive cast find its mark, and now Upset can unleash hell. Oh, a great hook from Destiny stops Upset from getting caught out. Now he's able to flash, but Whippo able to land the final Darking Blade, and now this is an awful fight for Origen. Another good hook comes out from Destiny.
This does mean that Rogue will face off against Origen, two teams that I think have a very similar stylistic play. That should be a very interesting match.
I can hear the thunder from afar. Everyone thought that G2 was going to 3-0.
The question is this iteration of G2 better than 2019?
Out of the 4 teams we've seen over the last 2 days, I think Fnatic stand head and shoulders above everyone else right now.
They will get to go up against Mad Lions. That's definitely not what everyone was expecting.
Oh, Mad Fnatic is going to be a really fun one. I do still think it is going to be Fnatic-sided.
Mad are doing it. Mad are in the lead. They are playing the game right. Valor comes out, spit back, punch him in the face.
Ripper joins the fray, caught of the Forge lands onto Nukeduck. He's almost dead, but he manages to head into the bush for the second. Ripper takes him. Xerxe still alive, upset, caught up in the last and best of Fnatic, and now turning this fight around.
It is taking out B-Boy. Misfits, they're falling apart. They've got nothing left in the tank.
This has turned from a playoffs of almost certainty that we'd have the same champion into a wide open playoff bracket. Every single team should take a long, hard look at themselves and see what kind of an opportunity they have here.
But man, you clean up better than anybody in esports. Right into the turtleneck, right into the You're looking fresh. And what a day, folks. Because last week, we bore witness to one of the biggest upsets of all time as Mad Lions took down G2. What a story.
Honestly, the name just fits the whole story. It was insane. It was mad. Honestly, we've seen many rookie rosters explode onto the scene over here in Europe. With 2016 with Splice, 2017 with Misfits, 18 with Vitality. I've been a part of 2 of them. I just put that in there. Nevertheless, Mad Lions did something unheard of, in the fact that they beat the tournament favorite and they did it with class and style.
Yeah, it felt like from comeback kids to giant slayers, Mad Lions stepped up and blew everything wide open, as Xerxe said so eloquently in that sick opening teaser, and are kind of the reason why we're in such an exciting situation right now. Now, that said, the perfect storm did need to be created here. We had to have online play, it had to be G2, it had to be Mad Lions, but that said, I'm all for this perfect storm. Like, what an exciting time to actually be running into playoffs. We thought this was G2 Fnatic all the way.
Yeah, and when I look at it, I didn't really think G2 were going to drop a game against any team that wasn't Fnatic on paper. So what do you take away from this if you're a G2 fan or if you're an analyst like the 2 of you? Like, did we learn anything about G2 in that series? Do G2 seem valuable now, or is this just another one that you kind of write off and you say, go next? I still think G2 are a big contender.
Honestly, it just feels like it spurred up more questions because coming into playoffs, we all had high hopes. G2 ramping up for playoffs. This is where they're going to take things seriously. But that series against Mad Lions showed a lot of weakness. Caps had a decent split on AD carry, found comfort in Ezreal, Senna, and he played some Taliyah games. In this best of 5, looked very, very wonky, and we expect them to bounce back. I expect some kind of fire to come back into G2 because, honestly, that series against Mad Lions was very disappointing.
Yeah, it's
this puts us in a...
Always that little voice in the back of your head that says that you can never count G2 out, which is why the next series will be so important. I think a lot of fans believe that it's probably going to be Origen versus G2. Theoretically, could still be Rogue versus G2. But obviously, if G2 get blown apart there, then you start to sing the death of the Kings. But until then, you're like, nope, still alive. Probably still looking at their comeback against Fnatic.
Yeah, and Fnatic most certainly now feel like the favorites so far, because while G2 struggled, while G2 fell apart, it felt like the second we got into playoffs, Fnatic looked just as good as ever, if not better. Very clear from the way this series played out how dominant they were.
Honestly, Fnatic, they got 2 free games, so to speak, because Origen's draft looked kind of wonky, but Fnatic showed a level of precision in terms of snowballing that we haven't seen from any other team. We've seen, basic play, stellar play in terms of scaling and so forth. We saw the craziness of the Mad Lions G2 series, but when Fnatic get ahead, it doesn't feel like there's any option to come back. We saw in that game number 4, when OG had that big lead, they find the snap kill onto Upset, and all of a sudden the game is just flipped on its head the moment Fnatic get the Nashor.
And it felt like Fnatic didn't have to show anything, that they weren't really stressed or pushed around by Origen. They didn't have to reveal any super secret picks. There was a lot of the fasting Senna style that ran around, but you know that if you deny that from Fnatic, if you try to push them for that they have tape of so many different styles. So question is, you know, what do teams learn getting this preview, these 4 games out of them versus Origen? And I think the answer is not much, and that's partly why they're so terrifying.
And you have to be even more scared now, I feel like, if you're in the bottom of the bracket, because, you know, you're hoping to win out. You're hoping you don't have to face Fnatic or Mad Lions for a little while the way that they're playing. But currently for G2, Rogue, and Origen, it's do or die. They're in the bottom half. One more loss takes them out. You can see here G2 having the higher seed in the regular season means they move up to match 6. OG versus Rogue playing today, and every single one of these teams wants to make it, but only one of them is going to.
Honestly, it's wild, you know, looking at that lower bracket, considering, you know, the story of, you know, Rogue beat Misfits, but then looking at the whole line of work that they need to get through in order to get to the final because of that G2 loss. And Mad Lions' level in this tournament has been just, you know, a crazy eye-opener for the possibility of what kind of best of 5s we can have here.
And all I want to see is back-to-back best of 5s. I love that we get 3 a week right now, but of course, tomorrow is going to decide the first of our final teams as the rookies of Mad Lions look for another upset, this time against the most decorated team in European history.
We are just getting started, actually, and it's the start of our journey.
Opening up the bigger guns on Hillsang, that Ignite's going to take, and Destiny takes the kill. Xerxe flashes forward, and the explosive cast find its mark, and now Upset can unleash hell. Reckless has nothing he can do.
Look at me.
While we are one lose away from being out of playoffs, I'm really grateful that we still have a chance to make it to the final.
10,000 hours the motto.
They've just gotten into the meat grinder. Rogue set it up so beautifully. Unstoppable now. It's Larsen's time to shine. Hans on the backside with the onslaught. Just let him die.
OG, they play really controlled in a way, and I think it really got exposed. Well, I thought he was really good. He's always applying a lot of pressure in lane. So I think it's gonna come down to draft a lot.
Rogue, they are still chasing the fact that they want to prove that they deserve to sit with the big boys.
All right. Now that's our game happening today. And look, you saw the video. It looks exciting. It looks hype. But before we get all excited about Rogue versus OG, I want to talk about Fnatic versus Mad a little bit more because this series gets me totally and completely pumped. And honestly, someone beating G2 in a best of 5, it's easy to call it a fluke for G2, and that makes it very easy to take a little bit of credit away from Mad. But if Mad beat Fnatic, we are in a whole new world, folks.
Whole new world is the right way to phrase it. It would be absolutely insane. You know, I think it's going to be a lot harder for Mad Lions because stylistically, I think in the current meta, both teams are very, very strong around playing that bottom side. While G2, you know, their bottom struggled throughout the split in terms of competing towards, for example, Reckless and Hillsang. So I think stylistically, these teams can match toe-to-toe. I think it's going to be a hell of a match, but I think Fnatic is going to take it home.
And my big concern is that top lane, because while a lot of praise will be thrown around to Xerxe and Kaiser, Orome kind of slid under the radar, and Bwipo is massive right now. And I think he's about to just push in that top lane. So while things look fine on the bottom side of the map for Mad Lions, I think that the matchup was really heavily weighted towards Fnatic, especially on the top side.
I do definitely have some concerns for Orome going up there because Bwipo is a man out to kill people. He's not worried about CS. That man is an absolute carnivore on the top side of the map. But you bring up the bot lane, and while we can call it even, some interesting things have been happening down there, specifically for Fnatic, and that's the fasting Senna. Frost, you brought it up earlier. I want to talk about it a little bit more here because this is something that has looked kind of crazy in the hands of Fnatic, honestly.
Before we even kick it off, I do want to say that just because Xerxe and Kaiser are good, I don't think it's still even. Like, I'm still weighting it towards Reckless and Hilly, and it's because they don't just have to play this fasting Senna. Now, going towards the fasting Senna, they've been experimenting with kind of the different picks that they'll put together with it. It's not just the Tom Kench Senna that people have seen globally. It's now bringing in the Zillion, bringing in even the split-pushing Trundle that Hilly got MVP on both sides of the Rift for in that game. But it's kind of this interesting dynamic where Fnatic usually gravitate towards a pick that they feel, or a strategy that they feel kind of breaks the meta or gives them a really strong fundamental base. In the past, it's been things like the Garen and the Yuumi, and this time around, it seems to be built around this Senna, and it's not the champion herself, but it's kind of the responsibility that she has to the map and what she allows Fnatic to do. And one of the cool things I like about Senna is the ability to play around top side. Obviously, post level 6, you have the global range of the ultimate, and when Bwipo takes those really aggressive skirmishes that we know he's going to try to take, Reckless can also be teaming up with him with that ultimate.
I I think the key thing what's been so impressive about both Mad and Fnatic is the fact that they've been so meta resilient throughout the split. We've had many new AD carry champions. You mentioned the Senna. Kalista also got revived from the dead. She got a lot of buffs. The question is, can Fnatic play the Kalista? They showed the Misfortune. They showed the Aphelios. I'm pretty certain that they can, because I have flashbacks of losing against Fnatic Reckless Season 5 with the Kalista, with the Lulu in the mid lane, which is a very, very long time ago, but it's still haunting me in my nightmares because we wanted to take them down because they went for that 18-0 in split. But Reckless can play it. The question is, have they prepared it? I think Fnatic is the team to do it. So I think meta-wise, the stars have aligned for both teams.
That is one thing, though, that I'm concerned. I agree with you that, like, meta-wise, it feels like Mad aren't pigeonholed into a style so much that we've seen from teams like Origen, but I feel like they're kind of out of gas. That their best of 5 against G2, you absolutely saw the highest high possible from Mad Lions, whereas I don't think we've seen that from Fnatic. Like, we didn't see Origen make Fnatic sweat at all, despite the fact that it was a 3-1.
And that gets me super fired up, because like if we haven't seen peak level Fnatic, if this is not their final form, that leaves so much more to see, and if it means crazy picks, that's personally what I'm all about. But taking a step back and looking at today's matchup, Rogue versus Origen. Winner's going to go on to face G2 on Sunday. Pretty big stakes, pretty tough weekend. Both these teams going to have to play 2 best of 5s and win 2 best of 5s if they want to come out on top. And for both these teams, it's kind of about a different set of expectations than for teams like Mad Lions and Fnatic.
Yeah, it's the fact that... are we going? I was like, is it the hype video, or do I get to hype you up?
No, you're good. You're the hype video for Oscar, and take it away. So Yamato will sing a song behind you. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yamato, give me the beat. No.
Something about the fire in your eyes. It doesn't matter. Just go.
I'm very confused, honestly, guys.
No, I got you, Yamato. It's the fact that Rogue and Origen have kind of the same origin story. When these teams look at each other, they're like looking into a mirror. Stylistically similar, and then also the fact that they have tasted glory, but they're starved for recognition. Origen want to prove that, yes, they are a top 3 team, and it's not just G2 Fnatic and then a giant gap and then Origen. Origen want to say, no, we are right there with them, and now they need to put up or shut up and prove it in these best of 5s. Rogue are trying to convince everyone that they're the top 4 team, and Fnatic definitely don't want to share a podium with them. So in kind of that same breath, Rogue are looking at themselves in the future with Origen, trying to unseat them and take their rightful place in power.
I think the key thing about Rogue as well is last year when they had that, of course, the summer split run, when they finally had the roster together, they figured out what they wanted to do, made an upgrade coming into this split. We all had very high expectations. Last year, they surprised everyone in playoffs with very, very good play against Splice. They dropped the ball pretty heavily against Schalke with the Corki package running into the Nexus
tower.
And then, freaking just tilting off the planet after that loss. Honestly, I think Rogue still has something to kind of shock us with, because that's what they did in the past. I'm hoping we see that today, because it's going to be necessary in order to beat Origen.
Shock and awe, obviously a difficult thing to pull out against Origen, such a steady team against everyone but Fnatic and G2. It so often feels like. And for Rogue, right, Origen are all players fighting to win their first title, but Frost, you said it before, fighting for this recognition because we were so excited last year about the Rogue Cinderella story, but now it feels like the honeymoon phase is over. We've been in this marriage for a while. We don't love each other as much as we used to, and I feel like Rogue have still got that spark, but we just need to see it, and we haven't seen it yet.
What is happening over there? You guys thought it's so
It's
dark.
been a while since I've hosted, and it's just, you don't get to talk about weird stuff in weird ways on the casting desk. It's all professional. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
You're gonna bounce off that one?
No, I got you. Yeah. So I think the issue is the style of these teams. People like exciting, bloody League of Legends. This is why people gravitate towards G2. It's why Fnatic are so exciting now. They're no longer just playing like this reckless death ball flying V where everyone stands in front of him and they try to do like RNG light. Like they're playing hard and fast, hit you and sucker punch style League of Legends, whereas Rogue and Origen aren't. They're trying to play like 2014 League of Legends, like this old LCK chess style, and it leads to, frankly, in my opinion, a lot of disappointment, because I personally feel that we've moved away from that style. And when you talked about how none of these players have titles, you did forget Destiny. He's the only person on the Origen lineup that has a title to his name.
I apologize to Spawn and
wild.
the entirety of Oceania for that one. That is my mistake.
But that says something, because we know all these names, they're huge, and you're going to see sad B-roll like this where everyone's, we were right there, we were so close, but we never got to taste it, because Origen don't want to be contenders, they want to be winners, but I don't know if they're there yet.
I think the key thing as well is for these two teams, I feel like Mad Lions has become what they wanted to be. Because Mad Lions is playing with that speed and intensity in the mid to late game. And this is something that Origen and Rogue have been criticized for the entire split. And I sense some frustration in interviews on Euphoria. Always was that, oh, we're trying here. We're okay, we're not bad. You know, it's been all over the place. And I think Mad Lions have kind of stole that thunder from them. So I'm imagining that they're looking at that and be like, that's what we want to be.
It's like, who are you trying to convince when you go up there and you're like, we're not bad. The style actually makes sense. If you look at it, we put the W's on the board, so how dare you tell us it's bad? It's like, I don't know, mate. I look at first place. You're not first, so.
It's about the shifting goalposts for OG. I'll give them a little bit of credit. Like, third place isn't bad. Obviously, the expectations are so high for this team. Winning a title is so much more than being the third best team. But let's see if we have another one of those interviews that you've both talked about so much. For more on Origen's hunt for the title, Lore is checking in with Xerxe.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Xerxe, for joining me. I hope you had a nice week of prep.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Right. Things didn't go your way last week. I'm sorry about that against Fnatic, but have you been able to identify what went wrong and why?
Yeah, I mean, right after the series ended, we sat around and we just talked about what we did wrong. And yeah, we've been preparing like much better. I mean, it's not like we didn't prepare better. It's just last week, it's just Fnatic actually played really good, and it kind of yeah. I mean, I don't feel like we were that prepared for what they had for us, but I'm sure like now we are good to go.
And hopefully you'll get another chance against them in the later stages of the playoffs, because with this game you were drafted in the lower bracket, and I asked Peke about this last week, but what do you think about this new format with the two brackets and the road that you now have ahead of you, because you're going to have to beat Rogue, then G2, and then maybe get the hope to go back in the upper brackets?
Well, in a way, like we don't really deserve like this playoff format is good because like we obviously lost, and now we still have one more life, and it would be like stupid of us to not use this opportunity to try even harder to prove that what we showed against Fnatic wasn't exactly how good we can play.
And do you think you're going to be able to showcase that against Rogue next week? What did you think about the game they had against Misfit, and will you take them? I mean, I hope you will, but how?
Well, after this week of games and the talks we had, I definitely feel more confident. And I mean, Rogue are still a good team, right? So we're still gonna respect them, but I still believe we can take them down.
Any matchup we should be looking forward to as the audience and experts?
Yeah, I mean, probably in the mid lane, Nukeduck against Larssen is going to be a fun matchup because both junglers should be there fighting 2v2s to that.
Sweet. So mid jungle duo. I mean, as always, that's one of the key matchup we had in
the classic 2v2 mid. Yeah.
The classic. Well, Xerxe, I wish you good luck on this one, and we'll talk about the game hopefully after the series. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And back to you.
Did he
Thank
just
you
say...
very much, Lore. Go
Did
ahead,
he say
Oscar.
Mid-jungle? Yvonne, is that what you heard? Did you hear mid-jungle?
She did. Is there something wrong with mid-jungle, guys?
He's employing some psychology here in this interview, trying to spread some seed of fake news. Or maybe it's a preparation against Rogue, who knows?
Are you telling me that Nukeduck, king of tanks in the mid lane, versus Larssen, the Azir king, that they're not going to tango every minute of every game? Am I wrong?
I mean, I would personally pick other matchups that I think will be a bit more explosive in the lane phase. Like, I don't know, top lane?
Definitely a potential. So let's talk before we talk about top lane, let's talk about these teams kind of holistically, because I think what you said before we got into this section, Frostgarden, was like, it's like looking in a mirror. We got mini
video.
OG versus OG. You said it in the hype video. So before we get into the specifics of top lane, just holistically, are we looking at two just basically bang on even teams in terms of how they want to play the game?
I actually really like how Yamato described the difference of them when we were in rehearsal. So I know you just like posed that question to me, and the soft answer is yes. But in smaller, minute specifics, I'm not going to hand it to Yamato.
All right. Well, honestly, I think their mid to late game looks very similar because they're not playing with the usage of Fog of War at the same level as Mad Lions, G2 and Fnatic. Usually the support and jungle defines the speed of the game, and I think using Fog of War to pressure kills into side and making everyone question everything at every turn is the key to a fast mid to late game. The way Origen and Rogue approach it is that they are constantly showing on waves because they're constantly playing for CS, and I think the juxtaposition, in this particular matchup, I think Origen have mastered this playstyle better, but it's going to be kind of a dance of who can control waves better and then pressure into sides, while the other teams that I mentioned, they use Fog of War, they make you question everything. Can I walk up to the CS wave because 3 men can be sitting in that bush waiting for my ass to just kill me?
Did you hear that, Jacob?
Yeah, the constant looming fear that you've just put on an entire set of players is there. Just 3 guys waiting in the bush. They're going to jump me. I'm walking home. I'm safe from school. They want my lunch money. Like, these guys are having flashbacks to middle school, Yamato. That's a terrifying prospect. Okay, so outside of this like stylistic difference and these struggles to maybe kind of extend leads, Frost, you started talking about individual lane matchups, and while we heard jungle mid is going to be the focus from Xerxe, where do you have your eyes?
So I do think it's a weighted matchup towards Origen. My eyes are going to be on that top lane, however, because I think a blueprint has been set out that when you contest Rogue in the lanes, particularly in that top lane by putting Finn down, Schalke have shown this, Misfits have shown this, Origen showed this both times when Alphari got his hands on Finn, solo killing him, that you can just dumpster them in lane phase, and then Rogue don't get to play their setup, controlled, domino-esque style. They just crack under the pressure, which is why I think they've been so consistent against the teams underneath them, but been unable to take down the big 3 in G2, Fnatic, and Origen.
I think also looking at the best of 5 games that both sides played, I think Origen showed a lot of strength in being able to play through top side and bottom side. And Rogue, they tried to play through bottom. They had that Draven pick, but it didn't really succeed. We had that big botched dive that gave Misfits that first victory at that best of 5. And it kind of showcased that even Rogue recognized that we need to just play through Finn because he is our star player. But as you mentioned, he is up against Alphari, and he is like the mountain. He is not the person that you snowball against. He is very, very tough to target. He's going to pick a gangplank. He's going to have a bigger champion pool because Finn is all about that Kled and Aatrox, but we know all about this. The question is, has Finn prepared something different, something unique that is going to shock Alphari? But it's very difficult to break a mountain because that's what Alphari is by definition. Look at that solo kill, man. So easy. This was pre-nerf set.
I think you guys called it, getting finned when he fell down something like 70 CS in the matchup?
Yeah, 70 CS down, that's called getting finned. Yeah.
And then he played both sides of it, and it was just rough on either side. And I agree with you, Yamato. Alphari just feels like a massive mountain to climb, but there is kind of the luxury that Origen don't necessarily have to attack through Alphari. You know that he's usually going to dominate lane phase, but that can have very different looks from just solo killing someone versus going up in CS and kind of doing his responsibility and playing cross-map with a gangplank ultimate. Now, if Alphari does fall back to his GP, there is a bit more room for Finn to breathe in a lot of the matchups that he can take. He doesn't necessarily have to get bullied around, and I think that's kind of like what Rogue almost want. I'd expect him to try to force Alphari or kind of steer him towards taking a GP and seeing how Finn fares and just kind of skill checking to see if he can get out of the lane phase.
Something that I like that you mentioned, Drake, was earlier when you called Mr. What's his name, Larssen, the Azir King. Something that Origen did in the regular split was actually ban Azir in the first 3. Nukeduck, even though we like to meme about him, he has this champion ocean that he can just draw from at any point in time. And with that Azir ban, question is, what will Larssen then go to? Because the Azir looks comfortable. Maybe Origen is going to challenge him in a different direction where he doesn't get to play for comfort because Azir seems to fit his playstyle perfectly.
And overall, I think, like, looking across this, just to summarize what you guys are saying, like, Rogue have to mix things up, which is so crazy to me because Misfits were the team that had to mix things up against Rogue, and Rogue now, as the lower down team, are going to have to show something crazy. Frostkern, we talked a lot in our cast last week about something as crazy as Finn's Alawi. I don't know if it's going to happen, but coming from the desk, it sounds like OG are the clear favorites. Let's see what happens as we get into our series for the day. OG versus Rogue. Loser goes home. Winner moves on to face G2 on Sunday.
Very much, and welcome to the Shoutcaster desk, everybody. My name is Trevor Quickshot Henry. I'm joined by Christy Ender Frierson, and we've got ourselves set for OG versus Rogue. I really liked what the analyst desk was talking about, kind of looking into a mirror, as it were. OG and mini OG, do you share that sentiment, Ender?
I mean, to a certain extent, for sure, right? You think about how both teams have had like success in their early games. The problems sometimes come in their mid game trying to close things out. But in other ways, there are very vast differences. You know, the analyst desk was talking about the top lane matchup, Alphari versus Finn, and while yes, these are two big carries, their playstyle within game is very different. I think there are some similarities as you look down the rest of the lineup as well. So for me, this is two teams that play very similar League of Legends, but the individual pieces are very, very different.
Okay, I'm very interested to see how this draft plays out, and of course Origen are the favorites today, and it's going to be up to Rogue to pull off an upset. But reminder that Origen lost their upper bracket game while Rogue won their elimination match against Misfits. We're already into draft. Syndra and Callista both taken off the table, both sort of both bot laners, and I guess flex picks actually as well. We've seen that Callista top several times, and Rogue making a very big signal, Ender. No Karthus, no Gragas. Xerxe, play something you're not as effective on.
I actually think this is such a smart opening rotation here from Rogue. You know, as I was sort of prepping myself for the drafts here, Origen feel almost a bit predictable in what they go for. Xerxe plays so many of these AP junglers that, you know, because Nukeduck sometimes goes to the tank, sometimes he's going to be going towards that Ornn, and Alphari has been playing so much Renekton. And as soon as that GP gets taken away, Origen, our team that have done this many times in the past, have gone for the first pick Renekton because Alphari is very confident in this top lane matchup, and rightfully so.
Now, I'm terrified for what this means for Finn. We actually did a lot of prep looking at Alphari versus Finn, and I want to see what he's going to play. I mean, Xerxe is still open, Claire is still open, whether you want to run those into the Renekton. I mean, Ornn is still another option as well. We'll probably expect something like a Tom Kench to join the Senna, the fasting Senna, you know, peel supports or protective supports is a preference. But I mean, yeah, Finn versus Alphari. We've already got ourselves one of the matchups that we're excited to see coming into the game.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one right here. And, I mean, Rogue are maybe even trying to swing that top lane matchup a little bit too, right? With Ascend in the bot lane, she can shoot that laser beam ultimate up towards the top side of the map and turn a 2v2, a 1v1 into an odd numbers advantage for the rest of the squad. And it looks like OG want to respond with the Aphelios Thresh. Now, I really like seeing this coming out from the bot lane duo because if you recall last week, it was the Yuumi Ezreal that Origen were super confident coming into the week on against Fnatic. It did not work out at all. But then, for games 3 and 4, they changed it to the Aphelios Thresh in the bot lane. They looked very good on it. They were picking up 2v2 kills against Hylissang and Reckless down there, and I am just so much more of a fan when Destiny can be on one of these playmaking supports like the Thresh. I think he looks so much better on them.
I completely agree with that, and I want to see what impact that's going to have against Vander, obviously on the Tom Kench, slightly different matchup, but I think it was Dracos called Larssen the Azir King over on the analyst desk. 4 games played this split, 3 wins, 1 loss, and a very meager 11.6 KDA on that champion. Very comfortable, very effective, and one of his strongest looking champions. So I want to see what that's going to do against Nukeduck. Ideally, I would like to see Nukeduck playing something a little bit aggressive into the pick. Nukeduck has been on tank duty, and frankly, I don't like it. I don't like the look. I've always liked Nukeduck on more aggressive champions. I'm hoping to see that come back, but I also understand you do have to play those team champions, and in the past, when Xerxe has had the AP damage junglers, well, you need that tank somewhere, and Nukeduck's drawn that short straw.
Right, it's an interesting conversation, right? Because, you know, Nukeduck has looked good at times on these tank mid laners. You know, Ornn was his most played throughout the regular season, but then it gets really exposed against mid laners that love to roam. I would say going into this series, it can change heavily whether or not I'm a fan of a tank in the mid lane, depending on what Larssen is locking in. Because we've seen Larssen on the Azir, very lane dominant, looking to build up a massive CS lead. This guy is no slouch in the 1v1, but we've also seen the Kiana pick that gets all around the map. So if there was a game where I would support Nukeduck going for that type of a style, it would be this one. And maybe he does go that way because with Corki and LeBlanc gone, those are 2 really solid answers into the Azir.
I mean, is Zoe still available if they wanted to go there? I don't know if you really want that with the...
I don't think Nukeduck's going to pick the Zoe anytime soon.
Okay, I just wanted to throw it out there. We saw the Kled band away, so one of Finn's comfort picks, one of his signatures locked in. I'm going to hold my breath for a moment because I really hope we see the Kassadin. We actually just talked about this in a practice not too long ago, and it's locked in. Kassadin versus Azir, and...
Okay, so Nukeduck may have just won the game, right? I'm a huge Kassadin fan right now on the current patch. I think this champion is so insanely strong. If you reach level 16, the game is won. I'm just gonna put it out there here for Origin fans out there. They're like they're blessing up right now. They're like, yes, we got it. Rogue Origin. We expect it to go slow. We expect it to go late. Kassadin is such a good pick here with the Trundle 2 to cut down the Ornn. It's gonna be really solid. But to dive deeper into this Kassadin, you look at the side of Rogue. Like, how do Rogue force anything onto you? There's no hard instant CC. Ornn's delayed. Tahm Kench is delayed. Kassadin can have a field day with you, and this game is going full scaling. This game is going full scaling, man.
Okay, so tell me what you make of the Kindred now. Obviously, with Gragas gone, Karthus gone, Olaf gone, a number of champion bans. Trundle was picked up, which I think I like, into the TK and the Ornn. But now Kindred as a reply, I've not been super impressed by the Kindreds that I've seen thus far.
No, but I will say that I think this is the type of game to pull it out. So game 1s and best of 5s typically have more off-the-wall picks. You see the Kassadin, you see the Kindred. Kindred, similar idea here. You have a really solid matchup up against the Trundle. You have the range advantage, you have the red buff to apply auto attacks, and Inspired has basically said his goal isn't to try and take over the early game and go for these ganks or anything, but it is to look to scale and to have that ultimate to protect his backliner when they're getting dove on by a Kassadin and or Renekton in the late game. I think this is a really clever, really interesting combination when you have 3 scaling backline champions and an Ornn with his Ornn upgrades as well.
Oh, this is going to be very fun in the late game team fights, and honestly, exactly what every single analyst, observer, League of Legends fan, and LEC viewer was anticipating. And Ender, just to summarize it, scaling, maybe a little bit more scaling. What do you think?
Look, I'm just going to say this is the type of game where we are going to have a lot of time on our hands. Quick shot. This is going to be a long one. This is going to be a good one.
Origin versus Rogue, game 1, coming right up. And welcome to Summoner's Rift and the first best of 5 in the second round of the LEC playoffs. It is Origen taking on Rogue, and it's Rogue that have already given themselves a little bit of shenanigans afoot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man stack pushing into OG's jungle. Is this just for Vision, Ender? What do you make of it?
Yeah, no, this is definitely looking for either Vision or, obviously, best case scenario, you burn a flash here. You can see Inspired even started with a sweeper himself to try and clear away any sort of level 1 ward in that bottom side of the jungle. And there's just wards all over the place. So what you're trying to do on Kindred, especially in the early game in a matchup where you can get a little bit more, pressure, especially when your mid laner is going to be able to shove in pretty reliably, is you're going to look to play for those early crabs to get your stacks. Now, with that, sweep away here, Inspired can go for the late invade towards this red buff, and I actually really like Xerxe's response on the top side of the map to go for an invade play himself, because otherwise, if Xerxe loses red buff, it's probably just going to be a double scuttle crab clear for Inspired. He'd get about a half-level lead off that initial clear, so instead will be pretty even overall, but keep your eyes on which side of the map that mark does spawn, because that would be pretty telling for Xerxe.
Okay, I'll keep my eyes on how many marks Inspired can actually build up for himself. This is Inspired's first Kindred of the split, and we've seen it a couple times played. I think I recall Misfits running it a moment or two, and I want to see how it's going to impact. Of course, Xerxe with a fairly early appearance here on the mid lane.
Wow.
A little bit of a smash and grab. The pillar comes down. Flash is available for Larssen, but it's level 1 on Kassadin as well, so I think that was more of a pressure play than anything else.
That was not typical Xerxe right there. Xerxe is the type of a jungler that wants to stay like in Fog of War for as long as possible and sort of confuse his opponents. That's the type of gank I would expect an Inspired to go for. He's the guy that gets a little bit more creative with this early pass to go for level 2 type ganks here, but instead Xerxe skills Pillar for a pretty pointless gank in the mid lane. Maybe it helps Nukeduck get some minions underneath that tower, but will end up slowing down Xerxe's clear speed just a little bit. As you can see, Inspired should be ticking over to level 3 right as he finishes the wolf camp right there, and gives himself a nice little advantage inside of the jungle. So to see Xerxe go for that, now I'm maybe a little bit worried because, as I said, Larssen should have prio coming through middle lane, so he should just be camping inside a river after this bot side gank to see when he can get that mark. But I do like this move from him as well. They can make it work.
Whoa, we're going to find out. That's a lot of aggression. The Lantern was good, and that's going to be a flash for safety as well. But Hans and Vander, they've shown to be a devastating duo. With the help of Inspired, they get 3 summoners down bot.
But this is actually so huge for Rogue's bot lane there, and it all comes back off of that level 2 gank from Xerxe. Again, you know, Inspired had split the map right down the middle, so he had full control over bot side. He then knows that Xerxe is going back towards his top side jungle, so with the lane sort of corralling its way in towards Rogue's tower, they set up that freeze and have now gotten all the summoner spells. That's going to open up, well, I would say a CS advantage down bot side, but it's the fasting Senna, so we'll just deny a little bit away from Upset here, who should be able to pick up a big wave as it crashes in towards tower. But as you can see, Inspired also going in, taking away the enemy Raptor camp as well, and should be here to respond if Xerxe were to even try for a play himself.
I mean, it's a 300 gold advantage already, just from some CS advantages in multiple lanes. I want to see whether or not Upset and Destiny can be taken care of again without those summoner spells, with the flashes being down. Hans Vander, Inspired, they can definitely set up more plays, especially once Inspired's able to get to level 6, manage to use that Lamb's Respite, you know, work with that tool. But we haven't taken a look at the top lane at all. This Renekton from Alphari, at plus 12 CS, Finn's got a wave to play with at the moment, but this is what you'd expect in the Renekton versus Ornn matchup.
Yeah, Alphari, you know, went for the first pick Renekton, and some teams would be like, hey, how can we counter this out? Rogue are like, okay, Finn, get on some engage. You're going to provide a whole lot for our team. And I think that's actually kind of the right approach in a game like this, where you know it's going to be scaling a little bit later, is you don't need to play for lane. And that's where this matchup becomes really interesting to me, right? Because you look at it. Now, Fari's the type of the player that he's going to win every lane by 10 plus CS. He's doing it right now up against Finn. That's expected. That's the norm for Alphari, whereas Finn, even though, you know, he is one of the stars on this Rogue roster, has never been about dominating lane. It's about how he can transition his advantages towards the rest of the map. So right now, Rogue is sinking so much into this bottom lane, and they have a TP from Finn as well. That TP advantage could mean he gets bot lane soon.
Yeah, let's take a look, see what happens. Whether or not Finn can come down. Xerxe is going to be
They have a good ward
lane.
to TP to, actually, underneath Upset right now.
Oh, Inspired is going to be the first one to spot out Xerxe. This is a 3-on-3. Remember, no flashes. Death Sentence will find a target. It's onto Hans Summer. The Devour buys enough time. Here comes Finn. He's jumped in with the teleport. Now Xerxe's running for his life. Hans Summer pushes forward. A 2-man knockup. That was so well played from Rogue. Finn has not got the damage just yet. Destiny will finally go down. First blood to Rogue and Hans Summer.
Really nice play there from Rogue. You can see Finn the whole time was trying to get his recall off to come in the TP. He said, screw it, I'm coming down here anyways. Origen thought they had the advantage. Destiny did land a sweet hook, but it's the TP mismatch that is going to decide those types of plays, and it's Finn who gets down in the bottom lane and gets Hansama ahead again for yet another time this season.
Oh, so nicely done. The kill going to Hans Summer. Not done yet. Finn,
oh, no.
God. Remember, no flash for Upset. Diving under the tower. The second kill of the game. The dragon and a plate to boot. Rogue in the lead.
Can I just say our timing could not have been better? It's like Finn, he doesn't play for lane. He wants to get down bot side, and he gets 2 kills right there in 2 ganks. You see this play one more time. With Xerxe down here, OG, they're calling for the play, but remember, neither Destiny nor Upset have the flash. The exhaust keeps Upset close by. Finn goes, lands a flash, double knockup onto the jungler and support. And they're able to burst down Destiny. Then, with Xerxe this low, well, he's going to recall. He's going to leave the tower. Finn ticks over to level 6 and has that ultimate to make the dive happen. And after a play like that, Rogue very smartly were able to pick up the Ocean Drake. I think Inspired was taking that while the dive was happening, and have now rotated topside. So we're just a minute away from the Rift Herald spawning. This is just picture-perfect League of Legends for the first 7 minutes so far.
And it is also exactly what we were expecting. And when we were prepping for this matchup, we were talking about how Finn, as you explained before, he's not somebody that tends to do particularly great in lane. When he's played Alphari, the split, Alphari stats, forward percent 56, plus 35 CSD was Alphari versus Finn the last 2 times they met, and a plus 2k gold lead. But the difference is, while Alphari can dumpster Finn in lane, Finn looks for those recall plays, those TP plays. He gets Hans Summer ahead, plays for the bottom lane. He's done it by running down, he's done it by TPing, and then by unlocking Hans Summer, that's how Rogue can push their leads elsewhere on the map, just as we've seen. So this is a great start by Rogue, and having a 2-0 fasting center and access to the Herald, this is just exactly what Rogue were hoping for.
Yeah, it is going so well for them right now, and just to keep talking about Finn a little bit too, it's weird because I feel like top laners, you usually only get credit when you're the player that like smashes your opponent, right? And you know, in the past, you know, our great top laners have been that type of style. But this split we've seen Whippo doing super well, you know, not just playing aggro in lane, but also transitioning to the rest of the map, and that's almost the style of player that I would compare a Finn to. Is that type of guy that isn't playing first lane. He'll sack minion waves. You know, he just TP'd bot lane while there was a wave and a half underneath his tower. He said, forget it, I don't need the minions. I'm here to make sure my carries get ahead, and I think that that type of attitude is super necessary to have in your wheelhouse as a top laner.
And it really helps when you do have a duo lane that have been performing. Hans and Vander have looked pretty good all split long, and they've had definitely some standout moments. Being able to put down Upset and Destiny is a path to victory here for Rogue. So they've got a 1700 gold lead. They've got themselves that Ocean Drake, the 2-kill advantage that we've already alluded to. And even the CS numbers, Finn has been able to balance that out. He's just one wave behind Alphari. Now, the one thing that hasn't been mitigated yet, and I think it's fair and expected, 80 CS on Nukeduck's Kassadin to the 96 of Larssen. I think everyone would have anticipated that. I might even argue Nukeduck might be happy with just being two waves down at this point. He's about to hit level 9, getting closer to level 11, and this is just what Kassadin wants to do. He wants to scale up. They get a flash from Inspired. I was so much in story mode, I didn't even realize Inspired was in trouble. But he escapes, and I think, by the way, Inspired has still only got that single stack. Yeah, he's only got 1 mark of the Kindred so far.
Yeah, look, Trevor, you're getting surprised by action. I think OG versus Rogue are getting surprised by action. They were expecting to show up at 30 minutes in this game. They weren't quite seeing the plays down bot side happening. But no, I think, you know, you're talking about Nukeduck just a little bit there, and he's totally comfortable on this type of CS deficit. You can see the Rod of Ages has come through, and even with Rogue getting an early lead, that doesn't nullify the fact that at level 16, like, Nukeduck should be pretty unstoppable. We've already said, like, the reliable CC is just not there to be able to lock him down, and there's also no one on Rogue that can reliably match him in a side lane too, because you know for a while in this game, you know, through 2 items, I think Larssen should be able to clear waves in the side lane, no problem, up against the Kassadin, but there will come a point where Larssen is going to just have to press R to get the Kassadin off him, and then Kassadin will chase him down the lane if he's not playing super safely. So that sort of side lane win condition for Origen is something that I am going to be looking at very closely here for the team, because it's something that Origen really haven't incorporated into the style. Origen have always been a team that is looking for the 5v5s, is looking for the team fights, and even when they have had the ability to try and, you know, really blitz down side lane turrets, go for inhibitors, etc., it's come down to the 5v5s for them. So if they're able to pull this off with the Kassadin, I think it actually spells very good signs for them moving forward.
I actually remember that Alphari playing like Camille on side lane and having the ability to push waves, but instead just peeling back, looking for the fights, forcing objectives.
Yeah.
I just had these flashbacks from weeks and weeks ago. It feels like a lifetime ago right now, Ender, with everything going on. But yeah, I mean, like you said, 1,000 gold at 11 minutes, definitely nothing to be super terrified by. Finn was roaming his way up towards mid while the Rift Herald will finally go down. Inspired will be able to secure this one, and Upset will get some vision thanks to that turret. Looking at the mini-map, Larssen is making his way up top. I don't know if they're fancying themselves a dive, but nevertheless, pushing that vision forward. And now we get to see where is Shelly going to get used. Turret plating still 2 minutes to go, so if they use that quickly enough, they can push that gold lead just slightly further ahead.
Yep, that's what what is going to be the play for them. They can also set that up to help secure the dragon, because as you're saying, Finn was rotating up towards the, into the river, towards mid lane, in case a fight broke out. What it also meant was there was vision on the Infernal Drake, so Xerxe wasn't easily able to, you know, sneak that one away. Had he started that up, all of a sudden there's an Abyssal Voyage bringing Hans Sama over to the equation as well there too. So Xerxe intelligently decides, nope, we're not going to start up that objective, but what it does mean is that there is no response to this play from Rogue yet again. Rogue have all control over this game. They've dominated the topside vision, which allows Hans Sama and Vander to play very, very aggressively, and all Finn has to do is play safe down here and not die to a potential Xerxe gank as he is in the area.
I mean, if I do the very basic math, 120 CS combined for Upset and Destiny, 99 for Hans Sama and Vander. If I can ask the observers to toggle over to the gold and we can do some quick math to work out the equivalent values there. Looking like further ahead, 2,600 gold on the side of Upset and Destiny. About 600 gold ahead for Hans Sama and Vander. Obviously 2 kills to their name is definitely going to play to their advantage. But this is again what you want to see if you were Rogue. Get Fasting Senna into a strong position, get the item advantage. They're going to continue pushing this top wave, and with the Infernal Drake looking like it's about to be pushed, Rogue making some waves down, that might be another objective for Rogue to just pick ahead.
Abyssal Voyage to mid lane. They're just going to look for the tower here.
Yeah, they're going to push the tower. Rift Herald, 30 seconds left on that plate. Should be able to get an instant charge. Finn can come in from behind with that Call of the Forge God. Is not even going to be needed. Origen are going to concede the tower. So that's tower first blood picked up. First dragon conceded. First blood conceded. And let's see whether Rogue are bold enough to push further. 2,000 gold lead. At what point do you believe Rogue's lead is going to be big enough to overcome the level 16 win condition of a Nukeduck Cassidy?
Well, the thing is, I don't think you can really point to any sort of numbers here for Rogue, because what it's going to come down to is you always have like that timer against you, but assuming Rogue can like force a 5v5 on like very superior itemization, which is going to be likely because you have an Ornn in your game as well as 2 marksmen and like a super high, you know, DPS mid laner in this Azir too. Like their team fight is always going to be super, super insane, and all they have to do is try and manage Cassin as best they can in order to come out on top. I just think they're playing such good League of Legends right now that the game should be pretty easy moving forward from here for Rogue. You know, we're talking about items, and Hans Sama got an Umbral Glaive at 11 minutes. Like, you get full vision control over the river, over the enemy jungle, anything like this. So because of these different things, Rogue have been able to go deep into the enemy jungle and put down vision. Then they use the Abyssal Voyage to just get this huge window where they can push mid lane tower. It just really is solid stuff.
That Catfish has got a Sunfire cape. Finn is sitting on a Sunfire cape. Nash's Tooth already completed, compared to 4 stacks on Aroa and some thrift shopping between Alphari and Upset. So if a fight breaks out now, I feel like Rogue have got a significant item advantage. That's before you add in the 2 Drakes. Another tower's going to fall. I love this early game here. Rogue showing they've got some clean decision making. They've made the dives work, or the teleport rather, from Finn into the dive, and it will be at the cost
Look
of
at top lane though. This is getting really sketchy. Hans Sama and Vander back away at the right time and place forward. Okay, that could have been bad there. Had Xerxe been able to find the window. It was Nukeduck actually sitting in the top lane brush, waiting to try and find a pick there. Had Hans Sama and Vander overextended, but these have been sort of all the interactions from OG where Xerxe is close by and looking for a gank, and it doesn't quite pan out. Whereas every single time Rogue have attacked, it's been very decisive and gone wildly in their favor. So just a few different things going slightly different for Origen. All of a sudden this game would be right back even, but for the time being, Rogue still in full control.
Well, we have some time, so I want to ask you, our expectations for Xerxe versus Inspired coming into this, the belief and the feeling that when Xerxe comes up against junglers who are expected to be weaker than him, or he is a better player than, he tends to really, really make those players look worse than they are. And this time around, that very early invade from Rogue and sort of the splitting of the map, plus then that strange level 2 gank from Xerxe, uncharacteristic, unexpected, and it's put Xerxe in this position that is 0-0-0 on Trundle. He still has a lot of value, don't get me wrong. That Subjugate plus the Pillar in these team fights is going to do a lot of work, but it's not what we were anticipating and Inspired kind of showing up in the first game.
Right. This was a matchup where I was thinking like, hey, Inspired, sometimes he goes for these sort of like off-meta paths. And what I mean by that is he will go for the level 2 gank. You know, the analyst desk was talking about the game 1 match against Misfits where he took red buff on Talia and dove bot lane. That ended up going horribly wrong, but it has gone nicely for them in the past. You know, when he was on his Olaf and making all those invade plays last year, he really did make a name for himself. Just holding that box. It looked like Nukeduck was trying to go in, but I don't know what he was trying to do there because Rogue are able to pick up yet another tower up in the top side of the map.
We both know that was too risky of a play. And Origen, they play the safe calls, right?
No.
He's not level 16 yet. It's not the time to be emboldened. So we'll go back to the Inspired and Xerxe discussion.
Like, I just want to put Nukeduck in a side lane. Farm up, do your business. No, but Xerxe has been the type of guy where whenever I watch him, I feel like you learn something new about the jungle because he's the type of a player where it's very clear he can see like all the options his opponent has in their path. So he doesn't necessarily know which path you're going for, but he always knows that you have like 3 or 4 different things you can be doing, and the second you reveal yourself or he can pinpoint your location on the map, that is when he punishes you. That's when he's able to find a counter gank. If you actually fall back to the last time these two teams played, Inspired went for a level 2 red buff invade. His timing was slightly off, so Xerxe ended up forcing him away from there, and then counter ganked him in the top lane and got this really sweet kill flashing over the wall on the Gragas. And it's these types of moves that make me, whenever I come into a matchup like this, go, hey, Xerxe, he has the advantage. But then Xerxe was actually the guy that went for the crazy level 2 thing this game. Inspired is playing a good early game on a scaling jungler and making things happen, so this is a different look from him, and it's one that I think is very, very good for Rogue in the postseason.
Taking a look, I think Inspired currently only has 1 mark to his name, and I love the fact that Rogue are sort of beating Origen at their own game to a degree, right? Playing smart lead, they've got 2 dragons already. There's 45 seconds till the next one. If you look at the minimap, OG have got a numbers advantage at the time being, and there's no tower in the bottom lane for Rogue to fall back to, so I imagine there might be some sort of contest. But Nash's Tooth picked up a Kindle Gem for Vander, plus the Null Magic, so you have to imagine that's going to become a Spirit Visage in the not-too-distant future. Abyssal Mask for Finn. Almost Black Cleaver for Inspired, so they're scaling. They've got a very good itemization lead. Rift Herald was picked up as well, so we can even see that being used to push down another tower.
See, Trevor, I actually don't see a way for OG to really contest this objective. Like, Alphari is really strong right now. Like, don't get me wrong, but the backline peel with a Nazir ult, a Kindred ult, Tahm Kench too, like, I don't think that Origen can even come near Rogue in terms of their itemization. And that's really, really unfortunate for them because they give up yet another Drake. And because Inspired was able to take that first Ocean so early into the game, we're going to be looking at a 25-minute Cloud Soul for Rogue. This is going to be the second mark of the game for Inspired as they're able to invade that one away. And the other thing, too, is that all the objective spawns have been desynced. You saw the Rift Herald spawned a minute before the Cloud Drake bot side.
Yeah.
So they get both of them, and Origen are walking around the map wondering, how do we actually farm anything? How do we do anything? Now Xerxe never gets to farm his jungle again because Alphari is going to be taking the wolves. They should give those wolves to him, I think, at least. Xerxe should just be an ult bot at this point, but bot side Nukeduck is taking the Krugs too, so they are trying to funnel him in towards level 16, but I don't think it is going to come soon enough for the squad.
Okay, so 3 levels away. That is the time. If you were an Origen fan and you voted #OGWin, which I believe 67% of the Twitter voters did vote for, that is your win condition you're looking for. Ender, I want you to look into your crystal ball. I want you to go 4.5 minutes into the future, okay? The Cloud Soul is on the Rift. Rogue maintained the advantage they have, as has been the trend for the last 20 minutes of gameplay. Do Origen win that team fight? Do they have enough tools to get through what you just described? The Azir, the TK, the Kindred ult, Ornn. Or will Rogue just simply pick up the Ocean Soul and look to set themselves up for a Game 1 victory? Because that's the world that I'm currently projecting.
Yeah. In 4.5 minutes, Inspired is going to have the Obsidian Cleaver upgraded because Finn should be probably level 15 at that point. Hans Sama too should be able to upgrade, you know, a Yomu if he goes for that second. The only thing is Larssen won't be able to have an item upgraded. That's a little bit unfortunate on the Azir, but they're going to be very strong as look at this. It's Nukeduck being pincered up here. He has all the ult stacks in the world, so he's going to be jumping away here quickly on the Kassadin, but Yeah, I don't think you
They
chase him
the
down the
time.
whole...
I was gonna say, that's awful. Like, there's not... Benny Hill is not long enough. That song will finish before you've caught that Cassidy.
Well, he actually didn't start even channeling his recall.
Oh my word, they may have actually caught him. I am so sorry, Nukeduck. I just cursed you.
They have no
This is an
CC. They have
official
no
caster
CC.
curse.
There's no way they get him.
Riftwalk, Riftwalk. Okay. Right.
He lost his whole mana bar. So this is actually, I think, too much from Rogue here. They saw him in side lane. They're like, hey, Nukeduck in side lane, we can pick. But what they failed to realize is that it's Kassadin in a side lane. So, while yes, they get his full mana bar, and that's kind of funny. Alphari pushes the bot wave all the way into the tower. They're able to deny some away from Finn here. So that's a small bit of breathing room from Origen, which will be quickly taken away here as the Rift Herald's going to be spawned in the mid lane one more time. That should be the mid lane tier 2 tower at the very least. With all of Rogue trying to run over and respond, we may see a fight here, quick shot.
Alphari's looking to come in from behind. Shelly will get the charge down. Nukeduck is about a third of his mana bar. Won't be able to chase. Actually, him burning through mana may have been what prevented that call. I don't know if Nukeduck could have played the extended engage. So Rogue, 5 towers to 2, 3 dragons to 0, 2 kills to 0. And I am starting to get nervous for OG here in this game. 1.5 minutes to dragon. And if I recall correctly, and don't let me put words in your mouth, but I believe you were saying Rogue should win the dragon fight and get the soul.
Yes, I am very much in the camp that Rogue are going to be winning this fight. Like, yes, the Aphelios, but with all summoner spells available for the back line of Rogue, that gives them such an advantage here, because when you think about what OG need to do as a fight, it's not about playing a slow front-to-back team fight where Aphelios is carrying. No, it's about, like, how does Nukeduck find Larssen out or find Inspired? How does he get them to flash away from the fight so that Rogue drop tons of DPS in that extended trade?
Right.
Well, I don't feel that Nukeduck is yet in the position to be able to do so, and when flashes are up for those backline carries, it becomes so much harder for him to actually have kill threat.
Absolutely the case. Call of the Forge God comes down 1 minute until dragon. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching at home, Hans Summer is only around 76-ish, 75-ish souls. Inspired at 24 minutes on a quasi-infinite scaling Kindred. Has a grand total of 1 mark. That's right, 1 mark, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, he only has 1? I thought he got a second one off the Raptor camp.
Okay, number 2. I take it back.
Okay,
I take it back.
He's halfway there, man. He's halfway there.
2 minutes have passed since my last update. That's my bad. He's on 2, ladies and gentlemen. It's double as effective as I just pitched it. But Ender, set this fight up for me. OG very clearly do not want to give it up uncontested. But holy moly.
Does Larssen actually have Rabadon? If he recalls on Rabadons, I don't think he has enough money. I would be amazed if he actually did, but it would be GG. Okay, he doesn't. OG are not completely blown out of the water, but Rogue's still very much in control. Look at how Alphari is positioning in his bot lane bush. OG want to contest this. It doesn't seem to me like it's going to be just a straight 50-50 here with their positioning, but now they're actually pulling it back. Rogue, what are they going to do without the Ornn ult?
Oh, this is going to be a little bit more difficult. Alphari hasn't pulled the trigger yet. Nukeduck's not there. He needs to teleport in. That's going to be crucial. The dragon's going down. The dragon's done. OG, you are at the door, but you need to go through it. You can't arrive late to a party and dance on the steps. You can't just listen to the music in the lawn of the house party owner. OG, watch the soul go down and wave and go like, my bad.
Nukeduck's the type of guy that's out on the front porch right now with the boombox up over his head. He's like, let me in. I want to be level 16. I want to be in the party right now. But Rogue don't want to give them the chance.
Not at all.
He just needs 1 more number. He needs that 5 to be a 6, and then maybe he can do something. But even then, you know, the scaling items still aren't all the way there. So he is going nuts just waiting inside the jungle looking for a pick.
And Ender, we have to give kudos here to Rogue, right? The composition they put together is exceptionally difficult to play into. Even if Nukeduck and Upset had found targets, Lamb's Respite, Emperor's Divide, Devour, Senna's Shielding and Ultimates, like there are a lot of tools that you can use to win that fight, and we know Origen are somewhat risk-averse. They play the 75% certainty fights, the 80% certainties. So when you're playing into a team comp that has so many, like, tools to deal with, it's no wonder that there's hesitation.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't blame them for playing like this because they just frankly need time. Early game didn't go exactly well, but even then, like, gold is close. It's just the literal champions in this game. It's so hard for them to do anything here. With Vander coming around, they're going to slow down Xerxe.
All right, Tongue Lash does find a target. Xerxe is going to get chunked out, 50% HP. Finds a lantern to safety. This should open Baron.
Just go do Baron.
This should open Baron. Ornn has his ultimate available. Azir, ultimate available. Kindred, ultimate available. But that can be a double-edged sword inside the Baron pit.
Yeah, they're just going to look for the turn right here as OG funnel themselves into this corridor here. Can Rogue turn? They're just going to get the Baron for free. There's not even a fight.
Again, absolutely nothing happens. Finn's looking for the engage, though. Call of the Forge God comes down. That's a double knock-up onto Destiny and Xerxe. And Destiny, his life is forfeit as Rogue get Baron. They've got the Soul. The Abyssal Voyage chases onto Upset. His flash is now gone. And that Tahm Kench, he's a speedy boy.
He's a carry. He's going to solo kill him.
He absolutely is. Gets the Devour. Here comes Hans Summer. Thank you. Vander deserved that kill. Hashtag Vander is the best Tahm Kench. Not done yet, though, as Lamb continues to chase down, as well as Wolf is looking for the bite. Xerxe will be in trouble just a moment's time. 1 or 2 more hits. Inspired gets them, gets back, and Rogue in absolute control.
Rogue are playing the easiest game of their lives right now. They're literally taking everything, and Origen can't even get there in time. They're on the mid lane tower. OG walking around, literally nothing they can do. Rogue came in with this draft. They've won from minute 1 onwards here, and are now going to walk into the base a second time once they come back here with the Baron, because the base has been broken, Trevor, and quite frankly, Origen have been too.
Yeah, remember, Origen got destroyed by Fnatic in the upper bracket to be in this position. But again, the Baron just completely taken without any contest whatsoever. Admittedly, Xerxe was late to the party, and Nukeduck wasn't really close enough to Riftwalk in.
Well, it's a good call, too. Remember, that was all led by Vander, who found the flank on Xerxe initially. He's the one that slowed him down, forced him to 20% HP, then the Lantern had to come in, obviously, to drag him away. So that's why Xerxe wasn't there. But once Xerxe was zoned like that, he can't come back into the pit. With Kindred, Azir, like, those champions shred through Baron Nashor so insanely quickly that there was never going to be a chance of a steal right here. So Rogue were able to clean up the last few kills of that fight. And on the top side of the map, Nukeduck was just farming. He's level 16 now, but it is too far too late. He cannot go into a side lane against Baron. Rogue are going to be able to push.
They absolutely can. First pick in this game was Renekton, right? First pick over 35 minutes ago. 0-0-0 for Alphari's Renekton. Finn, who managed to get his hands on Ornn in the second rotation, he set up a teleport double kill in the bottom lane that got Hans Summer 2-0. And of the team's 5 kills, Ornn has been involved in 4, Hans Summer Senna in 5. Vander, 100% kill participation. Finn's and Rogue's strategy from the drop, from the get-go, was to unlock bot lane and play through it, and they have excelled. They've got themselves 7 towers to 2. We're nearly 30 minutes into the game. Inspired, I'm not inspired by your mark, picked up 2. At this point, Hans Summer sent 115 souls. And Rogue, they're looking to take down another tower. Look at the top lane. Even their waves are set up correctly.
Yeah, there's a massive wave top lane. Super minions should be coming in soon towards mid. It's a little bit desynced, so Nukeduck will have time to clear this one away before returning towards bot. But it seems like, hey, Rogue going to take things a little bit slower. It's 30 minutes into the game, but in 55 seconds, we're going to have an Elder Drake. And let's be honest, Rogue have all the tools they need to be able to secure that one for themselves. You know, we were talking about that first pick Renekton a little bit, and I feel a little bad for not giving it the time of day in the draft because, hey, Alphari locks the Renekton, that's great and all. But look at what Rogue have done to it. Like, how is Renekton supposed to play in these team fights? Like, Renekton in the late game is supposed to flash on your backliner and try to one-shot them. You can't do that against Tahm Kench, Senna, Kindred, Ultimate. Like, all these things are stopping it. The range is making it so miserable for him to ever enter a fight, so he's been relegated to farming. And now Origen are going to have to come up with a miracle even to stall out this game because Rogue have everything in their corner and now just need that one final buff to be able to slam the door in Origen's face.
But, and it's a big but. Nukeduck is level 17. Lichbane completed. Fully stacked Roa. Seraph's unlocked. I mean, if Elder goes down, okay, fine, right, Rogue win. I concede that point. But maybe Nukeduck can find some sort of tool.
Here we
Elder's
go.
going to be the bait, but Xerxe is going to be needing the Lantern to get to safety. Death Sentence will catch Finn, but he's unstoppable thanks to the Bellows Breath. Nukeduck with good damage, but he gets chunked down by the Sand Soldiers. Alphari's in the backline. He goes golden. Lamb's Spite is buying some OG. They get obliterated. Oh, the railgun from Hans Sama picks it up. There is a reply. Remember, Lamb's Respite was used 1-for-1. That's a catch onto Hans Sama. OG with the first kill of the game at 31 minutes. There's a 2v3. That's another. Nukeduck's back in it. I called it. There was a problem to deal with, but here comes Larssen. The Emperor's Divide goes way the wrong way. He was trying to find a target, didn't manage to do it. Now that Finn has arrived, Larssen and Vander are looking to do a little bit more, and they can't find the DPS yet. Nukeduck needs to find a Riftwalk onto a squishy. Finn is not the squishy that he is looking for, but crucially, the Elder Drake is stopped, and OG show signs of life.
Oh no, is it actually happening, Trevor? The castle win right there, looking pretty nuts. Even down 2k gold against Ornn items, still jumping in and getting the absolute one-shots right there. Watch the fight again, because it's a little discoordinated from Rogue, and that pillar is really miserable. It slows them all down in this portal, where Finn is now zoned away from the rest of this team. Nukeduck on the side gets down a lot of damage before running away, and then Alphari coming into the backline gets the exhaust and the Kindred R. Kindred R comes in way too early, so while yes, Upset does get nuked on the side of the fight, when Inspired goes forward like this, he gets instantly popped, instantly destroyed, and then the CC comes through. Nukeduck, level 17, Lichbane completed now, 3 items, is a monster, and when there's not the CC, when there's not the Kindred ult or, you know, the Emperor's Divide to be able to lock him down, he is going to reign supreme. You can see right there the R even misses, and I think could have gone a little bit deeper, but he knows he's scaling. He is such a beast at this point in the game that you wait it out and you fight now.
Okay, they have to fight again. You cannot concede Elder with a 4-stack Dragon. That is Nukeduck playing on the flanks, using a Riftwalk. He's got a full mana bar to play with. Elder's going low. Alphari, no flash available to him. And then don't be surprised by Castle Win at level 17. You called it in draft, man. You said if Nukeduck gets to 16, it can happen. It's still a 4,000 gold lead for Rogue. Yes, they've got themselves the soul, but Rogue are not able to pick up the Elder yet. The siege continues. OG, they're playing on flanks. Look, bottom lane being shoved by Upset, mid lane being shoved by Nukeduck, and the Elder's been started now by Rogue.
This is such an uncomfortable position to fight in. Rogue needs to be able to commit towards one way with the Ornn ultimate. This may be the opening for them.
It will indeed. That call, the Forge Guard went way the wrong direction. That was not what you were hoping for if you're a Rogue fan. Destiny flashes forward. He manages to catch Finn again. Not the priority target. Devour buys some time as that Pillar of Ice slows down Rogue. Inspired, going to use the Dance of Arrows over the wall. Death Sentence goes wide, and the tension continues to mount. OG can lose the game if they lose the Elder.
Yeah, it would just be instantly over, right? But on the flip side, if they get the Elder, that opens up the Baron, that opens up so much more for them in this game. Now, Rogue are going to stick around here, and keep in mind, Nukeduck is not in the side lane, abusing the teleport, pushing down for towers. He wants to be here for the 5v5. Finn does not have R ready. It might be time for OG to go in.
It might indeed, but the rest of Rogue do. No assault, no Threshold. It's taken by Inspired. Elder Dragon picked up by Rogue. Double kill onto Xerxe and Nukeduck, and the Abyssal Voyage is delivering Vander as well as Finn to the front lines. The Railgun looking for an insta-give. Compliments of Hans Sama. Vander helps set up more. 100% kill participation from the duo lane of Rogue. The game started with them getting kills. The game will end with them killing OG.
There was one slight hiccup at the Elder Dragon, but right there they are able to execute very, very well. For 34 minutes, the cleanest game I've seen Rogue play all split. They're going to march it down for victory in Game 1.
Consistent performance from the team. Rogue open up the series, taking down OG in Game 1. And honestly, that was just impressive. From draft to Nexus, there was an answer for everything that OG was putting forward, and Rogue just come out the gate swinging.
Look, Rogue just schooled Origen right there. You're talking about the draft. I think Rogue came in with a very solid plan, but then even individuals across the board, like where are these big advantages supposed to be for Origen? Like Alphari, you know, best top laner of the split up in the top side. He's supposed to be smashing Finn in top lane. Well, he won lane, but Finn TP's bot lane and gets 2 kills. Inspired, making the pathing work better than Xerxe in the early game as well, too. So I think it was not just a team game, a planning victory for Rogue. It was also on the individual level, and that needs to see some big changes for Origen going into Game 2.
and analysts. I thought it was OG versus mini OG. The younger brother came out to take down the older one after the break. The analyst will tell you exactly how Rogue did that. Don't forget that tomorrow, Battle for the Ages, as the rookies of Mad Lions will look to shock the esports world, looking for another upset against Fnatic. Look at the color from Humanoid. He's got one. He's got two. G2 are losing. G2 are losing. Where were you? The rookies of Europe have taken down the world finalists. Mad Lions have defeated G2.
G2 and Fnatic have been dominating Europe for like the past 3 or 4 years, but I think it's my time to end their legacy.
Nukeduck already almost down. He gets caught out and now upsets the next target. They're just dead. Origen can't do anything about this. They just get swept off the map.
Their top laner tends to play weak side a lot, which is something I profit from a lot. I'm not too worried about playing a team like Mad Lions.
child, you would wait and watch from far away. But you always knew that you'd be the one to work while they all play.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the LEC Spring Playoffs. Of course, we're just coming coming lukewarm off of a Rogue win, and only lukewarm because it was a very slow, very controlled game, sort of as expected, but also lukewarm, I think, because we saw some things from OG we didn't expect to see. They were the ones sort of mixing it up here in the pick ban, and I'm going to say we weren't super pleased with the results.
Yeah, I think that's putting it lightly. I do want to pick at this word of, like, we didn't expect to see. When we're hedging our predictions about who we think is a favorite and who is kind of the underdog here, a lot of that has to be in estimating what the likelihood is. It's always like a percentage game. It's never 100%. It's usually like, 70-30, 60-40, one of those things that weights it to the other side. And there's always the possibility that a team just runs down and ends. And I think it happened pretty quickly out of the gate here in draft phase.
I think it's, looking at this draft, it's pretty wild. Like, sure, we've seen Kassadin in the past being picked into Azir as not the biggest issue, but just the blind pick Trundle, picking it for the Ornn. Trundle and Renekton have no synergy, so playing into top side is going to be quite rough because you can itemize armor into it. Bottom side, the 3v3 is easier for Kindred, Senna, and Tam, and Rogue could see quickly what they need to impact, and then Azir has full prio early and full control of a mid lane, suffocating Trundle to make any plays, and then eventually after those first plays happen into bottom, we've seen that Origen struggled to be patient around bottom side. This was the recipe Mad Lions used against them, and it worked successfully, and Rogue came in very well prepared into the match starting from draft.
Yeah, it just felt that Origen, once those bot ganks came in, that they were just slow to multiple rotations. They lost complete control over matching for soul point, and it turned into an Elder Drake kill, and then Rogue just walking it through them, and it was like super unsatisfying to watch, because while we expected these games to be really slowed and controlled, I would have rather it kind of been more of a back and forth, that true chess of you can see how the teams are outthinking each other and what they're doing with the information, how they're countering across map or what they're trading for it. But this one just felt like a team fell behind, and as soon as the dominoes were being knocked over, that Origen in this case just decided to watch it go.
Also, we criticized Rogue heavily last week and coming into this about how they played around bottom, dodge dive, kind of left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. But this game, the setup was very clean. They got the first gank, they burnt all the summoners. They had the next gank that happened, the 3v3. They set up the Ornn TP where Renekton TP'd for his lane. 20 CS advantage is not going to win you the game. Those kills are going to win you those games. And ever since that happened, they got the Drakes, they got the control of the Rift Herald. And Origen is not a team that shocks. When they're behind, they try to stick to the basics, stop the bleeding, but eventually you're going to get outskilled anyway against this team composition, even though you have the Aphelios and, of course, the Kassadin. Azir, Ornn, and Kindred, Senna, Tam is just too much.
And I think I was really happy with the level of performance coming in for Finn, noted very on, I think, by all of us. And for me especially, I thought he was going to be this kind of huge weakness. He held his own in the laning phase, and then when he had a TP advantage, he maximized that value. He went bot. But I want to go back to the draft really quickly before we look at any more of this game, because I feel like I don't want to just sell Origen out here. What was the actual thought process behind this draft? Because obviously we saw it all fall to pieces, but is this something that it's a bad read in scrims? Is this OG? Is it just that execution in the early game that makes this draft so poor? What actually causes this breakdown?
I think Yamato was right in talking about, like, it felt that there was a pretty hard turn as soon as the last two picks of the Trundle and the Kassadin came in. Like, I know people feel very strongly about first pick Renekton, but you can at least understand the thought process. You have a really strong top laner. Renekton is technically a flex pick. You already saw Finn really popping off on the champion, so it already works as a denial. And I don't mind Renekton priority as long as you have something that goes with it. But as Yamato pointed out, as soon as a Trundle comes in, you basically lose any power of kind of that 2v2 top side because you can itemize it so well and you're going to lose the dive threat. And for me, it was really the back half of the draft where you knew the blind pick Azir was going to come out. They prepare a counter with the Kassadin, but it doesn't pay off and you already lose mid-prio, so it's not like Nukeduck can help out other side of the lanes. It just became, I guess we get to Kassadin level 16 and maybe we can turn this game around.
It's just the key thing, like Trundle is fine into Ornn, right, because you remove the armor and all, but there is so many more aspects that the jungler needs to cover, and I think that becomes so difficult when you have a Kassadin in the mid lane that any type of early game planning or early game pressure that you can create will quickly be nullified, especially because Renekton burnt his TP top. That was supposed to be the lane that builds pressure, does something, but the moment Ornn TP's bottom and gets the value out of it, that just means that the game is almost over for the Renekton, because Ornn is going going to scale better, and everything is going to revolve around those Drakes in the first rotation to the Rift Herald. I think this was a good showcasing of how we expect the rest of the games to look like, because I don't think, I feel like it's just the staple LCK gameplay that we see in many games. One team gets a slight lead, first Dragon, second Drake, third Drake, fourth Drake, the teams begin to look, should we contest this Drake? No, it's just Cloudsoul, as you mentioned, Drake, because when we were watching it, oh, it's just Cloudsoul, we just let it go. And then, you know, the big climactic fight at the Elder Dragon happens, and then it's like, okay, this is where we kind of place our bets. But then again, Rogue's composition just scaled better, they had more gold and they had the value, so it's just felt like a classic LCK game, like Afrika Freaks versus T1 that I saw earlier today. It's just kind of...
better than that.
I was gonna say, I wish I could think of that as a compliment, because 3 years ago that would have been. But the problem is that every LEC team that's gone to Worlds has taken a Korean team's number. So if these guys are playing like budget Korean teams, it's not something that I'm super excited about.
Origen is playing like the budget Korean team. Rogue actually did a very clean game this time around. And so like while it feels like we're really hammering on Origen, I think it's because, again, the perspective and the lens was that Origen were supposed to just be the better version of Rogue, but they just got their clocks cleaned. And so you need to immediately see some pivots here. I don't want to see Origen just sack wave priority to Rogue, especially in that mid lane. I think it's so important that Larssen has priority, and he doesn't have that many blind pickable champions. He will always go towards the Azir, but otherwise he gravitates towards Tristana. And when he has pushing potential, his ability to swing out into side lanes is kind of what gets Rogue rolling. And so I need to see Nukeduck. I don't care if he puts higher priority on the Corki, doesn't have it banned away from him, but just like has something where he can push the wave back and keep Larssen locked down and give his team a fighting chance on getting out to these side lanes, preferably top lane.
And honestly, looking at OG coming into playoffs against Fnatic, same thing. Poor drafts first two games, they kind of tossed it in the bin. This first game also tossed it in the bin because of poor draft. They need to step up, because throughout the regular season, I heralded them at the beginning as the draft kingdom. They were doing so well. They need to step up and analyze these games and make sure that they come into the next one prepared. Ban the Azir, show some force instead of these wonky drafts that they've been doing, these best of fives that we've seen. We need to see Origen step up.
We'll find out if OG can return to that draft kingdom when we get back after this break, because this is a do-or-die series. The winner will face G2 on Sunday, but for now, we're going to head back to a break thing. Yeah, well,